Hello दिदी.
Hello, Avtar.
सो लाइक अब यो मेन सो चाहिँ द नेम चाहिँ कसरी आयो चिया कवि भनेर. सो आई टेल दिस फर्स्ट अनि देन विल गेट इन्टु पोइट्री. लाइक आई फिल यो चिया र कवि चाहिँ दिस टु थिङ्स चाहिँ एकदम रिलेटेड हुन्छ नि. लाइक
Of course.
हरेक कविको बर्थ चाहिँ जस चिया खाने ठाउँ या चिया पसलमै हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ क्या. साथीहरूसँग बस्दाखेरि ल सुनिदिउँ न त एउटा भनेर क्या. सो तपाईँको चाहिँ त्यस्तो एक्सपिरियन्स छ कि छैन?
Cheers. अहिले चाहिँ म एकदमै चिया खान्छु है. आई ड्रिङ्क अ लट अफ टी. अनि अहिले चाहिँ मलाई चिया जस्तै अमल हुन्छ नि, मेरो पनि म पनि चियाको अमली भइसकेँ. तर म बच्चा बेलामा जतिखेर म अलिअलि कविता पढ्थेँ नि, त्यतिखेर चाहिँ म खासै चिया खाँदिनँ थिएँ. सो आई डोन्ट नो, तिमीले भनेपछि मात्रै मलाई इट्स स्ट्राइकिङ मी लाइक चिया पसलमै एक प्रकारले हामीले भिजुअलाइज गर्ने इमेज पनि कवि भने चुरोट खाला चिया पसलमा बसेर लेख्ला भने जस्तै नै छ. तर मलाई चाहिँ फेरि कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि म चाहिँ चिया पसलमा गयो भने हाउडे गफ गर्ने मात्रै हो क्या. लाइक हुन्छ नि हाउडे गफ गर्ने हो. म चाहिँ त्यहाँ चिया पसलमा बसेर कविता लेख्न सक्ने खालको मान्छे चाहिँ होइन. फेरि म चाहिँ एकदमै ढोका बन्द गरेर होइन प्राइभेट स्पेसमा एकदमै त्यो भल्नरेबल हार्ट एकदमै त्यो ब्रुइज भइरहेको बेलामा कविता लेख्ने खालको मान्छे हो कि. सो आइ एम भेरी प्राइभेट when I write poetry.
सो तपाईँको लागि चाहिँ कविता भनेको चाहिँ के हो?
मेरो लागि चाहिँ कविता भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क हामी एज अ ह्युमन बिइङ हामीले अब सर्टन कुराहरू बुझ्नु जरुरी छ होइन. अनि हाम्रो बुझाइमा एकदम ठुलो पूर्वाग्रह पनि छ. वी थिङ्क द्याट वी निड टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड वर्ल्ड अल द टाइम होइन. द्याट्स वाइ देयर इज साइन्स, देयर इज म्याथमेटिक्स होइन. एभ्रिथिङ इज लजिकल, एभ्रिथिङ इज प्रिसाइज होइन. तर जिन्दगी यस्तो छ कि जति बुझे पनि, जति थाहा भए पनि होइन, बुझेर बुझ्नै नसकिने छ कि. जस्तै आई वाज जस्ट रिडिङ दिस I was just actually watching this scientific documentary, Cosmos नै होला त्यो नील डिग्रास वाला होइन. त्यसमा उसले के भनिरहेको थियो भन्दाखेरि लाइक युनिभर्समा इज इट 90% म्याटर, 90% स्टफ इज लाइक डार्क म्याटर्स, थिङ्स द्याट वी क्यानट सी विथ आवर आइज होइन. सो हामीले बुझेको सारा टेक्नोलोजी, हामीले बुझेको सारा एभोल्युसन, हाम्रो सारा प्रोग्रेस इज बेस्ड अन 10% अफ द वर्ल्ड द्याट वी क्यान सी विथ आवर आइज. अनि त्यो 10% पनि हामीले कम्प्लिटली एक्सप्लोर गरिसकेका छैन. त्यस कारण मान्छेले बुझ्न सकेर चाहेर पनि बुझ्न सक्ने क्षमता एकदम कम छ होइन. त्यस कारण जिन्दगी बुझ्न सकिँदैन. लाइफ इज अ मिस्ट्री. जब मान्छेले जिन्दगी बुझ्न छोड्छ र जिन्दगीलाई अनुभव गर्न खोज्छ, आई थिङ्क द ओन्ली मिडियम इज पोएट्री कि अर साइलेन्स. सो आई थिङ्क जब मान्छे बुझ्नबाट थाक्छ र नबुझिकन जिन्दगीलाई एक्सपिरियन्स गर्न खोज्छ, द्याट्स वेन पोएट्री कम्स इन.
सो तर अहिले यस्तो यो लाइक सोसियल मिडियाले जसरी टेक ओभर गरेको छ नि एभ्री प्लेसमा. लाइक एभ्री वान इज अ पोएट अहिले भन्छ नि. गाडी पछाडि लेख्ने त्यो 2-4 लाइन पनि कवितै हो. सो त्यो डिफ्रेन्सिएटिङ लाइन हुन्छ नि एउटा, सो त्यसलाई पनि कविता मान्ने, अनि अर्को लाइक देवकोटाको कवितालाई पनि कविता मान्ने हो कि लाइक दे अल फल एउटै क्याटेगोरीमा पर्छ कि?
मलाई चाहिँ यस्तो कुराहरूमा कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि आइ एम भेरी नन ट्रेडिसनल. स्पेसली अब हाम्रो चाहिँ इन्लाइटमेन्ट, पोस्ट इन्लाइटमेन्टसँग चाहिँ के सुरु भयो भन्दाखेरि कमोडिफिकेसन अफ एभ्रिथिङ इन्क्लुडिङ आर्ट होइन. जस्तै तिमीले भन्यौ नि एउटा लिटरेचर, एउटा देवकोटाको कविता र गाडी ट्रक पछाडिको सायरीलाई दुइटालाई एउटै कविताको दर्जा दिन सकिन्छ कि सकिँदैन भनेर तिमीले मलाई सोध्यौ नि. मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि पहिला चाहिँ साहित्य र कला भनेको कस्तो हुन्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि जनमानसमा भिजेको हुन्थ्यो. एउटा मान्छेले सबैभन्दा राम्रो कलाकारले मन्दिर बनाउँथ्यो र त्यो मन्दिर सबैले उपभोग गर्न पाउँथे. उसले भजन गाउँथ्यो, भजन सबैले सुन्न पाउँथे. बिस्तारै यो कमोडिफिकेसन हुन थालिसके पछाडि, क्यापिटलिजमको एडभेन्ट भइसके पछाडि जे कुरा किन्न र बेच्न मिल्छ नि, जे कुरा कमोडिफाई गर्न मिल्छ, त्यसलाई मात्रै हामीले आर्ट भन्यौँ कि. जुन ग्यालरीमा पेन्टिङ गरेर क्यानभसमा पेन्टिङ्सहरू राखिन्छ त्यसलाई हामीले आर्ट भन्यौँ. तर त्यो बाहिर भित्तामा केरेको कुरा द्याट वाज नट आर्ट फर अस होइन. अब किताब बेच्न सकिने, मोलमोलाई गर्न सकिने एउटा पाण्डुलिपि भए पछाडि त्यसलाई हामीले एउटा साहित्यको दर्जा दियौँ होइन. जो कुरा अब ट्रकमा लेखिन्छ त्यसलाई हामीले लिटरेचर मान्दैनौँ. मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि वाट यु राइट, वाट इज द कन्टेन्ट भन्दा पनि जुन इन्टेन्ट हुन्छ नि पछाडि, किन कविता लेख्छ, त्यो ट्रकको पछाडि पनि सायरी लेख्नेले किन सायरी लेख्छ, भित्तामा कोर्नेले ग्राफिटी गर्नेले पनि किन कोर्छ, फर मी द्याट इज मोर सिग्निफिकेन्ट कि. मान्छे उहाँ पो हुन्छ कि मान्छे भरिन्छ पोखिनुपर्छ कि उसलाई कतै केही गरेर होइन एन्ड द्याट रिलिज इज आर्ट द्याट रिलिज इज पोएट्री सो म चाहिँ आई डोन्ट रियली बिलिभ इन कमोडिफाइड आर्ट एज दि ओन्ली फर्म अफ आर्ट मलाई चाहिँ लाग्छ मान्छेको जुन त्यो इन्टेन्सन हुन्छ मान्छेको जुन त्यो कामना हुन्छ छचल्किएर पोखिने आई थिङ्क द्याट भ्यालिडेट्स द्याट इज क्राइटेरियन इनफ टु कन्सिडर समथिङ पोएट्री अर आर्ट कि जब मान्छे बग्न चाहन्छ त्यसपछि निस्किने प्रडक्ट भनेको साहित्य हो कला हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ
सो त्यसरी पोएट्री चाहिँ राम्रो र नराम्रो भनेर डिभाइड गर्न मिल्ने त्यो चाहिँ छैन भनौँ त्यसमा यो पोएट्री राम्रो यो नराम्रो भन्न मिल्ने
मलाई चाहिँ जस्तै अब हरेक मान्छेको पर्सनल प्रेफरेन्स हुन्छ होइन अब इङ्ग्लिसमा एउटा टर्म छ क्यानोनाइज भन्छ होइन क्यानोनाइज गर्ने एउटा क्यानन भनेर भन्छौँ नि हामीले क्यानोनिकल वर्क भन्छौँ नि त्यो चाहिँ क्यानोनाइज भन्ने शब्द नै कस्तो भन्दाखेरि इन्स्टिट्युसनलाइज गर्ने हो कि जस्तै हामीले देवकोटालाई क्यानोनाइज गऱ्यो भने उसको कवितालाई चाहिँ मानक कविताहरू मान्यो भने नेपाली साहित्यको यस्तो चाहिँ कविता हुनुपर्छ यो चाहिँ कविता हो भनेर मानक मान्ने बित्तिकै चाहिँ सम्भवतः केही मान्छेको लागि त्यो कविताले एउटा मानक स्थापना गर्दा होइन त्यो होला तर सबै मान्छेहरू देवकोटाको कविता मन पर्दैन त्यो भन्ने बित्तिकै देवकोटाको कविता मन नपराउने मान्छेहरू भनेको चाहिँ कम साहित्य बुझ्ने कम पढे लेखेका हो भन्ने जुन हाम्रो पूर्वाग्रह छ नि मलाई चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ एकदमै सङ्कीर्ण लाग्छ कि साहित्यलाई त्यसरी बुझ्नु हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ पोएट्री इज पोएट्री कोही मान्छेले के मनपर्छ कोही मान्छेलाई के मनपर्छ मलाई नै पनि कहिले के मनपर्छ कहिले के मनपर्छ कहिले छन्द कविता मन पर्ला कहिले एकदमै लाइक कमिङ्सको लाइक फर्मलेस होइन बााउन्ड्रीलेस ग्रामरलेस कविताहरू मन पर्ला कहिले मलाई आएर एकदमै माओ त्से-तुङको कविताहरू मन पर्ला एकदमै कम्युनिस्ट अथवा एकदमै नेचरको कन्सियसनेस भएको कविताहरू मन पर्ला कहिले मलाई गएर एकदमै रबर्ट आउटको वार सम्बन्धी कविताहरू मन पर्ला मेरो चित्तदशा नै बदलिरहेको हुन्छ सो मलाई चाहिँ क्यानोनाइज गरेको इन्स्टिट्युसनलाइज गरेको कविताहरूलाई मात्रै कविता मान्ने चलन चाहिँ मलाई मन पर्दैन आई डोन्ट लाइक इट जे पनि कविता हो जसलाई जे मनपर्छ र आइम नट द लास्ट वर्ड आइम नट एन ओपिनियन गिभर समबडी लभ्स लाइक भन्छ नि कोही मान्छेहरू म पाहाडतिर जाँदाखेरि त्यो एकदमै इरोटिक कविताको कन्टेन्ट हुन्छ कि त्यो उकालो लाग्दाखेरि भरिहाल्ने बोकिरहेको त्यो जुन त्यो दोहोरी हुन्थ्यो मैले सुने एकदमै इरोटिक कन्टेन्ट थियो कि त्यो कम्प्लिटली इन्जोइङ एब्सोल्युटली इन्जोइङ माई मदर डिन्ट लाइक इट कि मामले चाहिँ माई मदर स्क्यान्डलाइज के गरेर छोराछोरीको अगाडि भनेर जस्तो दे वर इन्जोइङ इट फर मी द्याट्स पोएट्री इनफ
या सो अब चाहिँ लेट्स स्टार्ट रिडिङ पोएट्री सो द फर्स्ट पोएट्री इज म्याड गर्ल्स लभ सङ बाई सिल्भिया प्लाथ
So what do we do? Like we read poem or we talk about it or what do we do?
So पहिला तपाईँ पढ्नु अनि after that I'll ask you questions regarding her life.
I read out loud, right? Mad Girls Love Song by Sylvia Plath. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I lift my lids and all is born again. I think I made you up inside my head. The stars go waltzing out in blue and red. And arbitrary blackness gallops in. Shut my eyes, and all the worlds drop dead. I dreamed that you bewitched me into bed, and sung me moonstruck, kissed me quite insane. I think I made you up inside my head. God topples from the sky, hell's fires fade, exit seraphim and Satan's men. I shut my eyes, and all the worlds drop dead. I fancied you'd return the way you said, but I grew old and I forget your name. I think I made you up inside my head. I should have loved a thousand bird instead. I should have loved a thunderbird instead. At least when spring comes, they roar back again. I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead. I think I made you up inside my head.
So what's the first impression you get?
Well, I find the literary device in this poetry quite interesting because it's my case of the poet is suruma it starts with inverted commas. So is this your inverted? Is this poem's inverted? So you चाहिँ कुरा कसैले चाहिँ first personमा भनेर भनिरहेछ I shut my eyes. So somebody is speaking directly. It's not a passive statement. It is something that the poet is speaking in first person भने पछाडि there is an urgency of message म भन्न चाहिरहेको छु म यस्तो गर्न चाहिरहेको छु अनि त्यो भनाइमा पनि कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि there is no certainty in her saying उसको इमेजिनेसनमा पनि किनभने she is saying a lot of time I think I made you up inside my head भन्ने I think भन्ने जुन शब्द छ नि त्यो चाहिँ प्यारेन्थेसिसमा छ क्या सो उसले भनिरहेछ केही कुरा भन्नुको साथसाथै सोची पनि रहेछ सो वी आर इन द माइन्ड अफ द पोइट एट वान्स कि जस्तै म तिमीसँग कुरा गर्दा केही कुरा गरेको छु तर मेरो मनमा पनि केही कुरा सोचिरहेको हुन्छु नि सो त्यो दुइटै कुरा चाहिँ ल्याङ्ग्वेजको हिसाबले सी हेज ब्रट इट आउट एन्ड आई फाइन्ड इट क्वाइट फेसिनेटिङ बिकज इट फिल्स लाइक आइम इनसाइड द माइन्ड अफ द पोइट एज सी स्पिकिङ आई अल्सो नो वाट सी स्पिकिङ बट आई अल्सो नो वाट सी इज थिङ्किङ होइन सो त्यसले डाइकोटोमी क्रिएट गरिरहेको छ दुइटा लेयर्स अफ कम्युनिकेसन भइरहेछ सो द्याट आई फाउन्ड इन्ट्रेस्टिङ तर मलाई चाहिँ अब बिकज आई हेभ मेरो चाहिँ सिल्भिया प्लाथ सम्बन्धी मलाई अलरेडी केही कुरा थाहा भइसकेको हुनाले चाहिँ अब माई इन्टरप्रिटेसन अफ द पोएम इज अल्सो काइन्ड अफ लाइक इन्फ्लुएन्स्ड बाई माई आइडिया अफ सिल्भिया
सो द्याट ब्रिङ्स मी टु अर्को क्वेसन चाहिँ इफ यो पोएम चाहिँ कुनै अर्कै मान्छेले लेखेको भए वुड इट बी स्टिल यति पावरफुल हुन्थ्यो होला वी नो उसको लाइफ पछाडिको कन्टेक्स्ट थाहा छ नि त लाइक त्यो ट्रेजेक्टरी जस्तो
आई थिङ्क जस्तै कविताको चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि वाइ पोएम्स बिकम पावरफुल इज बिकज अभियसली वी आर अल गोना राइट अबाउट आवर एक्सपिरियन्स बट त्यो एक्सपिरियन्समा पनि एउटा युनिभर्सल थिम हुनुपर्छ भनेर टिएस एलियटले भन्यो होइन सो देयर हेज टु बी एन युनिभर्सालिटी टु अ गुड पोएम भनेर भन्छ धेरै भाषा मान्छेको नेसनालिटी जेन्डरभन्दा पर गएर त्यसले छुन सक्नुपर्छ भनेर भन्छ होइन आई थिङ्क दिस कविता इज पावरफुल बिकज यो धेरै जस्तो मान्छेको एक्सपिरियन्स हो क्या हामीले एउटा लभमा एउटा प्रोजेक्ट गरेर हुन्छौँ होइन यो यस्तो होला योसँग मैले प्रेम गरेँ योसँग यस्तो हुन्छ अब सबै थोक ठिक हुन्छ भन्ने हुन्छ अनि मान्छेको अन्ततोगतमा एक प्रकारको के भन्ने डिसइन्चान्टमेन्ट हुन्छ नि त सो दिस इज क्वाइट युनिभर्सल एक्सपिरियन्स एन्ड उसको यो जुन मेटाफोरहरूले हालेको छ इट्स क्वाइट डेन्स फर इक्जाम्पल मलाई सिल्भिया प्लाथको कविता चाहिँ के मनपर्ने हो भन्दाखेरि देयर इज vivid image क्या for example the stars go waltzing out in blue and red and arbitrary blackness gallops in I shut my eyes and all the world drops dead so you know I see it कि लाइक मेरो आँखा अगाडि स्टार्सहरू लाइक आकाशमा त्यो झलझल भएको निलो रातो रङमा दे आर वाल्जिङ आउट एन्ड सडनली लाइक हुन्छ नि द डार्कनेस कम्स ग्यालोपिङ इन एउटा there is movement, there is her metaphors are very dynamic, so it is very vivid कि उसको कविताहरू so I think it would have been still been very powerful if somebody else had written because it has a relatability and second the metaphors are very very vivid and dynamic मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्यो
यो जसरी यो नर्मली आर्टिस्टहरूलाई चाहिँ पेनसँग सिनोनिमस रूपमा हेरिन्छ नि जसरी अल ग्रेट आर्टिस्ट चाहिँ कुनै न कुनै लाइक दे अल लिभ ट्रेजिक लाइफ्स भनेर भन्छ नि अस्कर वाइल्ड अनि फ्रान्स काफ्कादेखि लिएर इज एभ्री वान अनि सो डु यु थिङ्क त्यो चाहिँ हुन्छ नि त्यो पेन चाहिँ त्यो स्टेरियोटाइप भएको जस्तो लाग्छ तपाईँलाई जसरी म लाइक आई हर्ड पिपल से लाइक म एकदम खुसी छु त्यही भएर केही पनि नलेखिरहेको टाइपको क्या
अब मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ अहिलेको चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि स्पेसली हाम्रो पहिलाको जमानामा चाहिँ वी अल लिभ हाम्रो सगोलमा एउटा कम्युनिटी बेस्ड लाइफस्टाइल थियो अनि हामी बस्दाखेरि पनि हाम्रो जोइन्ट फ्यामिली थियो सगोलमा मान्छेहरू बस्थे होइन अब क्यापिटलिजम आए पछाडि चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि वाट इज द फाउन्डेसन अफ क्यापिटलिजम भन्दाखेरि मेनी पिपल ह्याभ टु कन्ज्युम मोर मान्छेले धेरै धेरै खपत गरिराख्नु पऱ्यो वासिङ मेसिन पनि 6 वर्ष पछाडि एउटै फ्यामिलीले 6 वर्ष पछाडि अर्को वासिङ मेसिन खरिद गर्नु पऱ्यो सो यो चाहिँ खपतमा मान्छेको बाइङ पावरमा आधारित इकोनोमी भएको हुनाले हामीले एउटा जोइन्ट फ्यामिलीलाई टुक्राएर हामीले न्युक्लियर फ्यामिली बेस्ड स्ट्रक्चर सोसल स्ट्रक्चर बनायो किन भन्दाखेरि एउटा फ्यामिली न्युक्लियर फ्यामिलीमा विभक्त भए पछाडि एउटै वासिङ मेसिनले 3वटा परिवारलाई पुग्थ्यो भने अब 3टा परिवारको 3टा वासिङ मेसिन हुने भयो फर इक्जाम्पल होइन त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि क्यापिटलिजमसँगै हामीले न्युक्लियर फ्यामिलीलाई ल्यायौँ होइन न्युक्लियर फ्यामिली ल्याउने बित्तिकै के भयो भन्दाखेरि एक प्रकारले अलिकति पर्सनल फ्रिडम त ज्यादा भयो होला तर मान्छे असाध्यै आइसोलेटेड असाध्यै एकाकी पनि भयो मान्छे होइन अनि अहिले जुन हामी कविहरूको कुरा गरिरहेछौँ ती चाहिँ यो समाजको यो एकाकी समाजको प्रतिनिधि पात्रहरू हुन् क्या सो मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि कवि भनेर कविहरू के जहिले पनि पेनबाट गुजिरहेका हुन्छन् भनेर हामीले त्यो सारा सबै कालखण्डको कविहरूलाई समेट्न सक्दैनौँ एउटा निश्चित काल अवधिको जुन हामी कविहरूको कुरा गरिरहेछौँ हो they represent this very alienated times that we were living in, especially Sylvia Plath, Oscar Wilde, फ्रान्स काफ्का तिमीले भन्यो काफ्काले त अगेन एन्ड अगेन यही ब्युरोक्रेटिक आइसोलेसनको मान्छेको एलिनेसनको कुरा गरिरहेछ होइन सो दे रिप्रेजेन्ट दिस टाइम अनि त्यस पछाडि उनीहरू चाहिँ यो सिस्टमको सबैभन्दा मुखर क्रिटिकहरू हुन् यसको चाहिँ सबैभन्दा मुखर आलोचकहरू हुन् सो उनीहरूको कवितामा चाहिँ यो सोसाइटीको क्रिटिसिजम पाइन्छ सो इन द्याट कन्टेक्स्ट यस poets and sense of pain, isolation and alienation is a recurrent thing. यो जेनेरेसनको पोएटहरूमा चाहिँ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
सो
जस्तै त तिमीले तर त्यही कन्टेक्स्टमा तिमीले कालिदासको कविता हेर्छौ इट्स नट लाइक द्याट इट्स अ कम्प्लिटली डिफ्रेन्ट थिम देयर इज इरोटिसिजम देयर इज लभ देयर इज लिरिसिजम देयर इज एस्थेटिसिजम भर्तृहरिको कविता हेऱ्यो भने सो यो जेनेरेसनको कविहरूमा चाहिँ यस पेन मोर देन पेन एलिएनेसन is a recurrent theme, but not across the time.
सो यो पोएट्सहरू चाहिँ नर्मली प्रिभिलेज मान्छेहरू नै पोएट्स भइरहेको हुन्छ नि जसले चाहिँ नि सोच्ने लग्जरी छ भन्छ नि सो जसले चाहिँ लेबर काम गरिरहेको हुन्छ उनीहरू चाहिँ जस्ट बेलुका के खाने भन्ने टेन्सनमै हुन्छ सो पोएट्सहरू चाहिँ बसेर दे क्यान थिङ्क सो दे क्यान राइट पोएट्री भनेर भन्छ नि सो त्यो प्रिभिलेजले ल्याएको पेन पनि हो त्यो एक हिसाबले
वेल तिमीले भनेको कुरा त कार्ल मार्क्सले भनेको सबैभन्दा मलाई कार्ल मार्क्सको फेभरेट स्टेटमेन्ट पनि यही नै हो कार्ल मार्क्सले के भनेको थियो भन्दाखेरि एउटा मान्छे मसिन एउटा इन्डस्ट्रियलाइज फ्याक्ट्रीको लेबरर मात्र भयो भने उसले बिहान 5 बजेदेखि 6 बजेसम्म एउटा ड्रजरी मेकानिकल वर्क रुटिन वर्क गर्नु पऱ्यो त्यो भएपछि उसलाई सोच्ने फुर्सद पनि हुँदैन न उसले कविता लेख्छ न उसले माछा मार्न जान्छ न उसलाई सिनेमा हेर्ने फुर्सद हुन्छ मान्छे एउटा मसिन भएर जान्छ त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि मान्छेलाई कविता लेख्ने माछा मार्ने यो सबै सुविधा दिनुपर्छ तब मात्रै मान्छे सर्भाइङ्गियर मान्छे बन्न सक्छ भनेर कार्ल मार्क्सले त्यसरी उसले सुरु गरेको थियो उसको साम्यवादको भनौँ न एउटा कन्सेप्ट यस्तो समाज जहाँ मान्छे एउटा माछा मार्ने मछुवाराले कविता पनि लेख्न सकोस् र कविता लेख्ने मान्छेले गएर जुत्ताको लेस पनि बनाओस् जुत्ताको लेस बनाउने मान्छेले बेलुका गएर कार्पेन्टरको काम गरेर सिकर्मी भएर एउटा कुर्सी पनि बनाउन सकोस् अब तिमीले भन्यो नि अब अल पोएट्स यो आदि प्रिभिलेज पिपल जस्तै तिमीले कविहरूको कुरा गर्यो भने तिमीले रेम्बोको कुरा गर्यो भने रेम्बो वाज he came from एकदमै निम्नवर्गीय परिवारबाट आएको थियो होइन he did not all his siblings were toiling away होइन in the fields होइन तर मान्छेको यो जुन सोच्ने लग्जरी भनेर भन्यो नि यो चाहिँ उसको इकोनोमिक कन्डिसनले डिसाइड गर्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्दैन फर इक्जाम्पल कबीर he was a जुलाहा he was a weaver होइन कपडा विभ गर्ने मान्छे थियो कोही मान्छेमा एउटा यस्तो चेत हुन्छ कि उनीहरू समय परिस्थितिको बावजुद पनि जिन्दगीलाई एकछिन टक्क अड्किएर रोकिएर हेर्न खोज्छन् र जो मान्छे पनि 1 सेकेन्ड मात्रै पनि 2 सेकेन्ड मात्रै पनि अड्किएर रोकिन्छ नि तब उसमा लत बस्छ कि जिन्दगीको यो भागदौड आपाधापीमा हामीलाई कहिले पनि रोकिन सकिन्छ भन्ने जस्तै लाग्दैन कि तर जो मान्छे 1 सेकेन्ड पनि रोक्यो उसलाई थाहा हुन्छ कि यहाँ रोकिएर हेर्न सकिँदो रहेछ र जो त्यस्तो मान्छे एकदमै धनी परिवारमा पनि हुनसक्छ एकदमै गरिब परिवारमा पनि हुनसक्छ जो मान्छे जिन्दगीमा एकछिन टक्क अड्केर रोकिएर हेऱ्यो सायद उसले नै कविता लेख्छ होला उसले नै कविता बुझ्छ होला जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई सो इट्स आई डोन्ट थिङ्क इट्स नेसेसरली प्रिभिलेज्ड वर्गमा मात्रै हुन्छ ह्याभिङ सेड द्याट तर अहिले चाहिँ कस्तो भयो भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो इभन आवर एजुकेसन हेज बिन कमोडिफाइड हाम्रो चाहिँ एजुकेसन हेज बिकम मिडल क्लास फ्यामिलीज लटरी इन्टु हायर क्लास जम्प गर्ने मिडियम भएको छ नि त एजुकेसन सो मोस्ट अफ आवर पोएट्स including Sylvia Plath, they went to good colleges. They had an access to good college. The good college जाने बित्तिकै उनीहरूको सर्कल वाइडर भयो उनीहरूको नेटवर्क राम्रो थियो अनि त्यसपछि they knew publishers, so they knew where to go, the right place क्या होइन सो हामीलाई चाहिँ अहिले यो privileged फ्यामिलीको privileged मान्छेहरूको अरू चिजमा जस्तै पहुँच भएको हुनाले उनीहरूलाई पनि साहित्यमा इस्टाब्लिस हुन सजिलो भएको हो अहिले चाहिँ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ it need not be like that, not necessarily.
So that about Ted Hughesको Dreamers by Ted Hughes.
I'm going to read all of this.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I hadn't read this one before. Dreamers by Ted Hughes. We did not find her. She found us. She sniffed us out. The fate she carried sniffed us out and assembled us inert ingredients for its experiment. The fables she carried requisitioned you and me and her puppets for its performance. She fascinated you. Her eyes caressed you, melting a weeping glitter at you. Her German, the dark undercurrent, in her Kensington dweller's elocution, was your ancestral Black Forest whisper, edged with a greasy, death camp suit softness. When she suddenly rounded her eyeballs, popped them, strangled, she shocked you. It was a mock surprise. But you saw a hanged woman choke, dumb, through her, and when she listened, watching you through smoke, her black grey iris, slightly unnatural, was Black Forest Wolf, a witch's daughter, out of cream. Warily you cultivated her Jewishness, her many blooded beauty, as if your dream of dream self stood there, a glittering blackness, Europe's mystical jewel. A creature from beyond the fringe of your desk lamp. Who was this Lilith of abortions, touching the hairs of your children with tiger painted nails? Her speech Herod's Hitler's mutilation, kept you company weeding the onions, and ex-Nazi youth Sabra, her father, doctor to the Bolshoi ballet. She was helpless too. None of us could wake up. Nightmare looked out at the poppies. She sat there in her suit with mascara, in flame orange silks, in gold bracelets, slightly filthy with erotic mystery. A German, Russian, Israeli with the gaze of a demon, between the curtains of black Mongolian hair. After a single night under our roof, she told her dream. A giant fish, a pike had globed golden eyes, and in that eye, a throbbing human fetus. You were astonished, maybe envious. I refused to interpret. I saw the dreamer in her. I saw the dreamer in her had fallen in love with me, and she did not know it. That moment, the dreamer in me fell in love with her, and I knew it.
So, first impression.
Uh, First impression. What I always like about Ted Hughes' poems is I remember this poem whose title I can't remember. You know, Ted Hughes is passing by a village, and then he says, "Oh, it's a very romantic idea to live in that village. You know, as a city dweller, you pass across, and with all that urban inertia, you look at the villages and you are like, oh my god, it must be so romantic to live out here in the countryside. But when you actually go and live there with all the leaking thatched roofs and all the cold, wet place and the filthy poverty and everything." So I remember that poem because it was very vivid के एकदमै लाइक त्यो म त्यो जुन पहाडको घरहरू जाँदाखेरि म त्यस्तो घरहरूमा बसेको छु नि त्यो 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 घर आई कुड फिल द कोल्डनेस के त्यो चिसो ओस आउँछ नि त्यस्तो माटोको घरमा अनि पानी तपतप चुइरहेको हुन्छ त्यो कविता पढ्दाखेरि त्यो नै खसाइदिन सक्ने उसको क्षमता छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई टेड ह्युजको चाहिँ सो इभन रिडिङ दिस poem what I found very interesting is like I think he personifies dreamers. He personifies a certain fate character, something fate-like character, and he begins with, "We did not find her; she found us." So us, there are two people. So he's probably talking about his beloved with whom he fell in love, but he's trying to justify that it's not about us. There was something bigger than us who found us. So मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्यो भन्दा यो कविता पढ्दाखेरि अब हुन्छ नि I think people become very superstitious when they are in love because you can't explain love. So you say like, oh, marriages are made in heaven. So you think that was something bigger than you have. You have been destined to be together because you don't understand. But I don't subscribe to that worldview. So what I saw in the first read was he is trying to justify himself through very dense metaphors. One after another, he is throwing Bolshoi, ballet, Russian, doctor, Jewishness, a pike, a fish. It's just like there are too many metaphors, there are too many images. Unlike Sylvia Plathको अघि पढेको कविता, which is neat, it flows. त्यसमा त्यो माकुराको जालो बुने जस्तो छ नि कि यो कवितामा चाहिँ because he is probably guilty of something, एकदमै उसले जालो बुनेको छ कि so we can't see through it what he is trying to say when it's very dense. So it also, I think it is also reflective of his he does not want to be too transparent about it, and he's also rationalizing it. मैले गरे होइन भनेर. So that's what I realized. He's fallen in love with a woman, but he's not ready to take responsibility मैले गरेको भनेर, and he's also not very transparent about it. So that's the impression.
So यो कविता चाहिँ like take use जब ऊ चाहिँ आसिया वेभलसँग when he fell in love when he was married to Sylvia Plath, so त्यो एक्स्ट्रा म्यारिटल अफेयर जस्टिफाई गर्नको लागि चाहिँ लेखेको यो पोएम भनेर भन्छ. सो यो मोनोगेमस रिलेसनसिप्सहरू भन्छ नि, सो त्यो कतिको पोसिबल छ लाइक नट टु बी लाइक अरू मान्छेप्रति अट्र्याक्टेडै हुँदिन यही मात्र हो भनेर गर्नलाई, त्यो नेचुरल प्रोग्रेसन रोकेको जस्तो गर्नलाई.
That's a very interesting question. I think I would like to differentiate between companionship at this point in my life, between companionship, which we could say marriage, and flings. मतलब love पनि भन्दिनँ. I think love is a very conscious decision जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. So but we are attracted to people all the time, होइन. When I was about like 18, I went to live in a commune and I started living together with a guy, and I lived with him for 11 years. In a place where there's regular influx of people who are looking for adventure, and there is very open-ended relationships. Osho is a sex guru, as people understand, and so there's this certain ideas people come to the commune with. So I was there. I was exposed to that kind of very open-ended relationships for 11 years. I know. So coming to your first question, is it possible to be just attracted to one man all the time? Personally, it was not the case with me, because there are many different people who have many different sides of personality, which fascinates us. I might be attracted to my boyfriend for a certain reason. He might पहिलाको ex-boyfriend भनौँ. Yeah, whatever. So I might be attracted to him for a certain reason, but then I might be attracted to him because he's a kind person, for example. And then there comes another person who is very brutal and who is very crude. And there's a part in me which likes the brutality or crudeness, and I'm attracted to this other person. And they're mutually exclusive, these two qualities. तर मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि but I think it is up to you to decide. You want to act upon it? Do you want to do something about it? Do you want to act upon it? It is, I think, up to you. And I think जुन तरिकाको हाम्रो समाजमा फ्रेमवर्क हुन्छ नि, there's very, very rigid monogamous marriage structures हुन्छ नि, त्यसमा मात्रै बसेर अथवा सुरुदेखि नै त्यसलाई मात्रै फुलफिल गरेर कोही मान्छेहरू खुसी हुन्छन् होला. तर कतिपय यस्ता मान्छेहरू पनि छन् जसको लागि that is not enough. They need to experiment through different kind of relationships जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. And as someone who kind of experimented with different kind of relationships, now I'm in a place where I see an importance of a committed relationship, a committed relationship where I'm assured of other person's love and the other person is assured of my love. Because only then त्यो बिरुवालाई एउटा माटोमा पनि रोपेको छ, उखालेर अर्को माटोमा रोप्दा छ, अर्को माटोमा रोप्दा छ, त्यो जरै गाड्न पाउँदैन. It doesn't become a tree. So for a certain time, I think it's also necessary. But after a certain time, you also need एउटै ठाउँमा जरा गाडेको relationship. I don't know how long it will last. But for right now, I think we need to go through different kind of relationship. Monogamous, if it works for some people, why not? But I don't think monogamy is the only way to explore relationships. But also, कतिपय मान्छेमा चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि it becomes a compulsive thing. They can't do anything about it. They are attracted to someone and they are helpless and they just gravitate and they can't do about it. Life is ruined and we can't do anything about it. त्यो चाहिँ एउटा certain एजमा हुन्छ. But I think after a while you should be able to take agency. You should be able to decide, do I want to go in that direction? Do I not want to go in that direction? You should have an agency about it, just like someone. And whatever you decide after that, each to his own, just like someone. You want to be monogamous? Great. You want to be polygamous? Great. You want to be polyamorous? I mean, why not?
So, तर monogamous relationship मा बस्दा बस्दै पनि attraction is a natural progression हो नि एउटा. अनि so त्यो pursue गर्ने कि त्यसलाई चाहिँ हैन हुँदैन यो त गलत हो भनेर त्यो नेचुरल प्रोग्रेसनलाई रोक्न खोज्ने.
लाइफको ग्रोथको फेजेसहरू हुन्छ एउटा मेरो आफ्नो एक्सपिरियन्स चाहिँ के भन्दा एउटा एजमा चाहिँ गएर आई एक्टेड अपन इट होला होइन एन्ड द्याट वाज एजुकेसनल बिकज आइ एम नट समन हु टेक्स एनी वान्स एडभाइस सो इट वाज इम्पोर्टेन्ट फर मी टु मेक मिस्टेक्स सफर एन्ड नो थ्रु माई ओन एक्सपिरियन्स सो आई एम द सफरर काइन्ड के नट टेकिङ एनी वान्स एडभाइस सो for those kind of people, yeah, I think you need to do what you need to do. You need to suffer.
Okay, so now next poem is by Mao, Chairman Mao.
Changsa. I like this poem. It's one of his early poems.
Maybe
60s.
Almost first poems.
Yeah?
Early.
Yeah. I really like this poem. Changsa by Mao Zedong. Alone I stand in the autumn cold on the deep of Orange Island. The sighing flowing northward. I see 1,000 hills crimson through by this serried wood deep dyed, and 100 barges vying over crystal blue waters. Eagles cleave the air, fish glide in the limpid deep. Under freezing skies, a million creatures contend in freedom. Brooding over this immensity, I ask, on this boundless land, who rules over man's destiny? I was here with a throng of companions, vivid yet those crowded months and years. Young we were schoolmates at life school flowering, filled with student enthusiasm. Boldly we cast all restraints aside, pointing to our mountains and rivers, setting people afire with our words. We counted the mighty no more than the muck. Remember still how venturing midstream we struck the waters and waves stayed the speeding boats.
So the first impression from this poem.
My first impression of this poem is, I think it would have been, I think even if I knew nothing about Mao Zedong, I could make that this was a poem written by somebody who was concerned about humanity and who was aware of power, especially this line, brooding over this immensity, I ask on this boundless land, who rules over man's destiny. Mao was already aware, or the poet was already aware of this concept of dominion and power and ruling and reign, which is very fascinating because it could have easily been a poem about nature, which it is mostly, but then he's also very subtly aware of human dynamics of power. That is what strikes me, and I'm also quite struck by almost all Maoको कविताहरू सुन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I'm struck by, maybe it's the Chinese legacy, that's how they write poems, also very lyrical, very aesthetic, I'm always struck by the lyricity and very frail but very transient, very frail but very beautiful imagery of nature. Okay? It's almost like this Chinese Sumai paintings, get your frail strokes, just okay. So yeah.
So your questions are like जसरी Mao when he was a poet, like Che Guevara had this very intimate relationship with poetry. Bhagat Singh also wrote poetry. अनि सो जसरी हामीले चाहिँ सबैभन्दा बेस्ट नेता नेपालको चाहिँ बिपी कोइराला भनेर भनिन्छ नि, अनि he had this great literary understanding. अनि सो अहिलेको पोलिटिकल सिनारियो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ जसरी लाइक नेताहरूको लिटरेरी अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ नभएर यो पोलिटिकल इन्स्टेबिलिटी भइरहेको जस्तो भन्न मिल्छ.
On that note, I heard somebody say that Bibi Gorella used to say, I read communism I read politics, I read communism to understand theories, but then I read poems or literature to understand life. I misquoted it, but somewhere along the line. अब मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि कविहरूको लिटरेचर लभरहरूको होइन एउटा खालको पूर्वाग्रह हुन्छ क्या, poetry is the highest भन्ने खालको पूर्वाग्रह हुन्छ कि this is the highest. Anybody who can understand or read poetry, they are at the highest level of consciousness. So you gave me examples of France, who Che Guevara and Bhagat Singh. But then I can give an example of someone like, for example, see Elon Musk. Does he write poems? Yeah, I don't know if he does, but I find him quite fascinating, and then he's done amazing things. I think poetry is one way of experiencing the manifold mystery of life, but not the only. So I do not think it's only the lack of understanding of poetry that is responsible for the moral laxity of Nepali political leaders. There could be more to it, but that's an interesting thought process. No, but most of them were steeped in literature, really, because recently there is this book published by Professor K.R. Khambu, and where he has quoted a poem written by K.P. Oli in, I think, 1932. So, Hosiyar bhanne kavita cha haina. So, K.P. Oli was very interested in literature, and Sushil Koirala, Matrika Prasad Koirala, D.D. Koirala, they were like very steeped in literature, except Kirisa Prasad Koirala. Mahendra was a poet. So, poets are not the only good people in the world. But there should be many other reasons as well, just like Nepalko political laxity. I don't know, I've never thought about it.
अनि तर ठ्याक्क त्यही हिसाबले but Mao पनि was a revolutionary भयो like almost murderer भनेर भन्छ like Che Guevara पनि भगत सिंह पनि was this एकदम violent खालको thought process भएको मान्छे तर like these people writing यस्तो पोइट्रीहरू चाहिँ सो त्यो ब्यालेन्स कहाँनिर छ उनीहरूको चाहिँ
जस्तै हेर मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि कविता को मान्छेले लेख्छ जो मान्छे व्याकरणको परिधिमा बस्न चाहदैन those people who want to break the parameters of grammar. Grammar means rule, grammar means control. Those who want to break the parameters of grammar or control, they are poets, and so are revolutionaries. They do not want to stay in the parameters. They don't want the control of the regime that they are living under. So there is some kind of psychological kind of parallel to their appeal to their fascination with poetry and revolution, because they both want to transcend the given parameter, the given grammar or the regime. But I think a revolutionary is someone who is a humanitarian at heart. You can, even if it disintegrates later, it just metamorphoses or it just changes into something else. But initially, the sentiment for revolution must come through love for humanity. Just like Mao was very sensitive about his times. So was Lenin, so was Che Guevara, so was Bhagat Singh, because उनीहरू आन्दोलित हुन्थे कि मान्छेको दुःखले जो मान्छेको पीडाले मान्छेको दुःखले आन्दोलित हुन्छ उसले नै कविता लेख्छ उसले नै शहादतको लागि लड्छ. So there must be a correlation, but not every poet has to go and kind of like try and aim for revolution.
तर भन्छ नि पोइट्री पनि इज अ मिडियम फर सोसल चेन्ज भनेर भन्छ नि सो त्यसमा चाहिँ कतिको अग्री गर्नुहुन्छ तपाईँ लाइक अब सपोज यहाँ स्टुपिड क्वेसन जस्तो हुन्छ तर माओले कवितै मात्रै लेखिरहेको भए सो त चाइनामा त्यत्रो रेभोल्युसन आउँथ्यो र भनेको जस्तै
आउँदैन थियो होला अभियसली आउँदैन थियो होला आई थिङ्क पोएट्री इज नट इनफ. But I think what good poem does is good poem does change the consciousness of people. जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई जस्तै अब मेघदूतले होइन मान्छेको एक प्रकारको समाजको कन्सियसनेस चेन्ज गर्छ जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ. तर I don't think poetry should be used as a device of social change. That's misuse of poetry जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. It should not be. Poetry is not a slogan. Poetry should not be a political slogan. If it changes the psyche of a person, that should बलात्कार गर्ने तरिकाले कविताले मान्छेको चित्तलाई बलात्कार गरेर चेन्ज गर्नु हुँदैन. यो सोशल चेन्जको माध्यम बनाउनु हुँदैन जस्तो लाग्छ. पानी जस्तै पानी एउटा छायाबाट बगिराख्दाखेरि बिस्तारै ढुङ्गा काट्छ नि त्यो कविता भनेको चाहिँ पानी जस्तो हुनुपर्छ कि निरन्तर बगिराख्दाखेरि त्यसले ढुङ्गा पनि काटिदिन्छ. तर त्यो तरबार रेटे जस्तो रेटाइ पनि हुँदैन कविताको जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. It could change consciousness, but it should not be used as that.
So अब चाहिँ जिम मोरिसनको पोएट्री
I hadn't really read this poem, has it?
फ्रिडम एक्जिस्ट.
Freedom exists. Did you know freedom exists in school books? Did you know madmen are running our prisons? Within a jail, within a wide free Protestant maelstrom, we are preaching headlong on the edge of boredom. We're reaching for death on the end of a candle. We're trying for something that's already found us.
First impression from this.
First impression from this is like very simple wordings, very vivid metaphors, and he juxtaposes the binary opposites, for example, so that makes the poem very potent. For example, did you know freedom exists in school books? So that's an oxymoron, right? They're like paraspar virodhi jasto, freedom and school book bhane jasto. So it immediately strikes you when you bring two opposite things, like, oh, it creates a fiction and you were already attentive. So in the first go, I found this poem very impressionistic because the mind ko duitai left hemisphere and right hemisphere both are utilized jasto ke, so both sides of my mind is activated. So this poem was very powerful. Did you know madmen are running our prisons? And you're suddenly aware, like, oh my god, prisons are supposed to be kind of like looked after by sane people, but oh, actually the madmen are running our prisons. Like, what the hell, Vanessa? So it was very potent for me, and a very good piece of poetry actually.
सो त्यहाँ सो फ्रिडम जस्तो ऊ छ नि फ्रिडमको जुन कन्सेप्ट छ नि सो सो तपाईँ कतिको फ्री हुनुहुन्छ लाइक तपाईँको फ्रिडमको डेफिनेसन अनि लाइक हाउ फ्री आर यु.
I think initially I had a very wishful idea of freedom. When I just kind of like ran out of my home, I was like, oh, I wanted absolute freedom. I just want to be free. You know what? I just want to be free. So what I've learned in due course of time is that हाम्रो चाहिँ जिन्दगीको भनौँ न जिन्दगी जिउने क्रममा चाहिँ we can expand our orbit रहेछ कि. So एउटा सानो orbitमा घुमिरहेको थिएँ म. Then I moved to a bigger orbit and then I keep on moving to a bigger orbit. तर एउटा स्टार आफ्नो orbitबाट हुन्छ नि निस्किएर स्पेसमा गयो भने the star is lost के. You're just lost, and I lived in that state of like orbitless losthood, freedom, an absolute freedom of like being lost for quite a considerable period of time, to the point where I started disintegrating psychologically. I had like depressions, and like I went into a very shut down phase, okay? Because I was so disoriented. There was nobody to call your own. There was no center to hold on to. There was no nothing, okay? So now I have chosen my orbit. This is the place I want to go around at this given point. Maybe I'll change orbit at another time, but we are bound by mutual gravity. बाहिरको खिचाव पनि छ, बाहिरको के भन्छ centripetal and centrifugal force भन्छ हैन. So there's also like this pull of the wilderness. There's also the pull of the center, and to constantly create a balance, not to become too submissive or not to become too self-destructive, and constantly find your way between these two. I think that's freedom for me right now, and there's no absolute freedom.
It's like फ्रिडमको कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ त्यो रियालिटी भन्दा परको फ्रिडम भन्छ नि. जसरी जिम मोरिसन पनि लाइक ड्रग एडिक्ट एक हिसाबकै हि डाइड अफ ड्रग ओभरडोज यसै पनि. अनि सो रियालिटी भन्दा परको कन्सेप्ट हो फ्रिडम भनेको. जसरी क्रिस्चियन मक्यान्डलेस पनि फ्रम द इन्टु द वाइल्डबाट पनि ऊ पनि इभेन्ट टु अलास्कातिर गएर त्यो रियालिटी भन्दा आफ्नो रियालिटी भन्दा पर फ्रिडम खोजेको नि त. सो कन्सेप्ट अफ फ्रिडम अनि कन्सेप्ट अफ रियालिटी चाहिँ कतिको पर छ यो दुईवटा कुरा चाहिँ.
अहिलेको हाम्रो सोसाइटी कस्तो छ भने इट्स भेरी रिजिड एन्ड इट्स भेरी ऱ्यासनल. फर इक्जाम्पल ओन्ली ऱ्यासनालिटी इज rewarded. हामीले स्कुलमा पनि we have to get grades, and then you have to perform in your office in a consistent psychological wavelength every day, and relationshipमा stability चाहियो भनेको छ. सो हाम्रो सबै इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इज अन ऱ्यासनालिटी कि मान्छे ऱ्यासनल भइराख्नु पऱ्यो, मान्छे ऱ्यासनल भइराख्नु पऱ्यो. त्यो हुँदाखेरि के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि हामीले मान्छेको पर्सनालिटीको अरू सबै डाइमेन्सन्सहरूलाई चाहिँ रिप्रेस गऱ्यौँ कि सो इट इज भेरी रिप्रेसिभ सिभिलाइजेसन कि होइन जस्तो तिमीले इस्टमा हेऱ्यौ भने नि लुक एट हिन्दू गड्स शिवजी के गरिरहेछ भाङ धतुरो खाइरहेछ साढे माथि चढिरहेछ होइन दन्ती भृगीलाई भूत पिसाच प्रथम गण लिएर नाचिरहेछ एन्ड देयर इज अल्सो समबडी लाइक विष्णु हु इज मोर टिम्ड एन्ड हु इज मोर डोमेस्टिकेटेड एन्ड हु इज लाइक मोर के भन्ने एटिकेट कन्सियस होइन सो वेस्टर्न सिभिलाइजेसन चाहिँ कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि इट्स भेरी वान डाइमेन्सनल इट इज बेस्ड अन एकदम प्युरिटानिकल वर्ल्ड भ्यू के लाइक हुन्छ नि सेक्सुअल मोरालिटी पनि एकदमै रिप्रेसिभ छ र मान्छेको इरेसनल जुन मान्छेको डाइमेन्सन अफ लाइफ छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले एकदम रिप्रेस गरेका छौँ आई थिङ्क यो जुन खालको जिम मोरिसनको अथवा तिमीले इन्टु द वाइल्ड फिल्मको कुरा गऱ्यो नि आई थिङ्क दिज आर रियाक्सन टु दिस रिप्रेसिभ सिभिलाइजेसन के if we have a civilization which is more accepting of many different dimensions of human being, you होलीमा भाङ खाए पनि हुन्छ भाङ खाएर नाचे पनि हुन्छ होइन चौथीमा गएर चोरे पनि हुन्छ चोर्नु पनि मान्छेको मेबी दिस इज द निड अब गएर के भन्छ त्यो रत्योले गर्दाखेरि केटी भगाए पनि हुन्छ एन्ड दिस थिङ्स आर लाइक एक्सेप्टेड इन आवर सोसाइटी वेन यु ह्याभ गिभ सच काइन्ड अफ आउटलेट टु ह्युमन habits or desires or limitations. You don't need to go to extreme measures, okay? But when you think human being, all the time we are living in, Nietzsche said, God is dead, so we live in godless age, pretty much all of us, right? So God गइसके पछाडि God को ठाउँमा हामीले कसलाई राख्यो त भन्दाखेरि मान्छेलाई राख्यो कि मान्छे could be ideal, मान्छे could be God like, मान्छे is the ideal, मान्छे नै हो सबैभन्दा सर्वोत्तम प्राणी भनेर हामीले राख्यौँ नि अनि मान्छे सर्वोत्तम प्राणी जस्तो भएर देखाउन चाहन्छ कि बट वी आर अल्सो एनिमल्स हाम्रो एनिमल इन्स्टिङ्क्ट पनि छ र सिभिलाइजेसनले मस्ट टेक दिस थिङ्स इन्टु कन्सिडरेसन अदरवाइज दे विल बी यो चाहिँ यो दुइटै मूर्ख हो जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई इन्टु द वाइल्डको त्यो रियाक्सन पनि मूर्ख हो र हाम्रो एकदमै ऱ्यासनालिटीको लागि हाम्रो त्यो जुन प्रेजुडिस छ त्यो पनि मूर्ख हो जस्तो लाग्छ लाइफ इज बोथ वेज every once in a while you need to go crazy, you need to be irrational, and every other while you need to come to the rational points of life. So life is a rhythm के त्यो crest and trough भन्छ नि वेभ जाँदाखेरि त्यसको अग्लाइ पनि हुन्छ होचाइ पनि हुन्छ नि जिन्दगी त सबै everything moves in wave, no, everything light sound everything moves in wave त्यसको crest पनि हुन्छ त्यसको trough पनि हुन्छ there is rationality irrationality it has to go both ways.
So now the next poem is by Pablo Neruda.
Okay. Okay. Love by Pablo Neruda. Because of you, in gardens of blossoming flowers, I ache from the perfumes of spring. I've forgotten your face. I no longer remember your hands. How did your lips fill on mine? Because of you, I love the white statues drowsing in the parks, the white statues that have neither voice nor sight. I've forgotten your voice, your happy voice, I've forgotten your eyes. Like a flower to its perfume, I'm bound to you. Like a flower to its perfume, I'm bound to my vague memory of you. I live with pain that is like a wound. If you touch me, you will make me an irreparable harm. Your caresses enfold me like climbing vines and melancholy walls. I've forgotten your love, yet I seem to glimpse you in every window. Because of you, the heady perfumes of summer pain me. Because of you, I again seek out the signs that precipitate desires, shooting stars, falling objects.
So, what's the first impression?
I would say I love Neruda. It's like one of my favorites. What I love about Neruda is like my first impression about like most of the Neruda poem is like someone in love, right? But who is melting like the heated wax, like molten with love, like. Neruda melts with every other paragraph in poem कि like पग्लिरहेछ त्यो तातो छ त्यो समाउँदा त्यसको त्यो paragraphको feeling is it's warm and it's molten and it's helpless and it's like cascading all over you so it's like very touchy-feely. His poems like I feel like I feel like I feel embalmed. Okay, his poem, after reading his poem, it feels like his words have like I just put on a cream in my body. His words stay back in my body like something that's wet and molten, and I
I
wear
think
it.
is one of those poets जस्तै forgetting is a part of love भनेर जसरी भन्छ I think is one of those poets पनि अनि so that brings me to the like unloving को जुन concept हुन्छ नि like relationship मा छ अनि after you're not in a relationship त्यो you move on जस्तो त्यो unloving वाला process हुन्छ नि so do you think unloving someone something is possible?
That's incidentally, I could say I'm in the process. So that's, I don't know the definite answer to that, but I'll think out loud. Uh, the process of unloving. I think, I don't think you can unlove the person you loved in the first place. But also, after a certain amount of time, being with a person becomes habit. So you cannot differentiate the comfort of habit and the passion of love. So they two intertwine, you know. So when you are separated from that person, I don't know which was love would have died long ago, and then there's this comfort of habit with being with that person again for a long time. And त्यस्तो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि for me the process of separation was trying to remember the last day when I was passionately in love with that person and the day since when it became a habit. So when I thought about it, I realized it was a long time ago. So, and then I was like, so what was I doing all this time? And then there's this thing called love. I think passion dies, you know, after a while, passion does die. And what replaces it is kindness and consideration for that person's well-being. So love, say it's not sustainable, right? So it just dies. You don't have to unlove someone. Like after a while, it dies. But there's some kindness, so you want to take care of the other person. You want to make sure that other person has an easy life, but so you want to make life easy for them. The habit, say it lingers on, right? Okay, so I cannot wish ill for the person. Like, oh, राम्रै होस्, राम्रै भइराखोस् जस्तो लाग्छ. But अब मेरो चाहिँ त्यस्तो, in my case, unloving. I've never really felt like, oh, I was still in love with this person and I have to forget this person, I have to move on. I was always the one who got over. As the first person to get over, I was like, I'm done. So I think, yeah, I think it was on the other side that the process of unloving.
So love like चाहिँ habitले replace गर्छ
गर्दो
भन्ने
रहेछ. गर्दो रहेछ, like in this relationship भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि it has to be mutual, okay? If you're taking care of somebody, you need to be taken care of. Okay? There has to be an awareness. Okay? Love only comes through awareness. हामीले फुचाफुची हुँदाखेरि we cannot love. फुचाफुची हुँदा we can be attracted, we can be infatuated. लभ भन्ने कुरा धेरै पाएको हुँदै गए पछाडि, जिन्दगीमा धेरै हन्डर खाए पछाडि, धेरै मान्छे कम्प्यासनेट भएपछि, आफूलाई पनि फर्गिभ गर्ने, अरूलाई पनि फर्गिभ गर्न सक्ने क्षमता भएपछि, र अब जस्तै हामी यङ हुँदाखेरि त we are narcissistic, we are just considering about our need नि त होइन. But only when you can place other person होइन त्यो need एउटा सेटल भइसके पछाडि, फाइनेन्सियली पनि सिक्योर भइसके पछाडि, when you are a whole personally, only then you can love जस्तो लाग्यो कि मलाई अहिले चाहिँ.
It's like attraction love मा develop हुने कि like त्यो what is love भने जस्तो question भएको चाहिँ.
Love चाहिँ अब I don't know, man. Like that's a question I've just been asking right now. Like I don't know what is love, but what we consider love generally, that's not love. It's it is very compulsive. It's very obsessive, you know. It exhausts itself out. It burns itself out, you know. मलाई चाहिँ त्यो एरिक फ्रमको किताब छ, that's my favorite book, The Art of Loving भन्ने, where he talks about what is love, and he says love is a conscious decision. Okay? Love is a decision. Okay? Like I will be with you one as so, and actually I want to reach that space also. Whatever I have done in the past in the name of love, I don't want to keep on doing.
Okay, so now the
Faz?
Fez Ahmed Fez.
Okay. Is this complete poem?
Yep.
Okay. कुछ इश्क किया कुछ काम किया फैज़ अहमद फैज़ कुछ इश्क किया कुछ काम किया वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो इश्क को काम समझते थे या काम से आशिकी करते थे हम जीते जी मसरूफ़ रहे कुछ इश्क किया कुछ काम किया काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से काम उलझता रहा फिर आखिर तंग आकर हमने दोनों को अधूरा छोड़ दिया ना इश्क किया ना काम किया
So first impression from this.
यो कविता चाहिँ मैले प्रदीपजी कोट्स दिस कविता a lot कि so I have heard a lot I keep on hearing this कविता from प्रदीपजी so कुछ इश्क किया कुछ काम किया so first impression is I love Hindi I love Urdu I love Nepali मलाई यो जुन यो यतापट्टिको यो टङ छ नि it sounds like rounded pebble के त्यो खोला मुनि मान्छे त्यो ढुङ्गाहरू बाटुलो भएर बसेको हुन्छ नि मलाई यसको लवज चाहिँ एकदम बाटुलो लाग्छ कि स्पेसली उर्दूको त बाटुलो मात्रै होइन इट्स क्वाइट इन्ट्रिकेट होइन तर नेपाली र हिन्दी चाहिँ बाटुलो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ यो उर्दू कविताहरू चाहिँ I also like to listen to them the quality of listening because there is some kind of sophistication even in the sound of it so for example to say I was busy in my life and to say hum jeete ji masroof rahe like you know like there's some kind of sophistication to it and also because we know Faiz Ahmed Faiz as a revolutionary so this is also multi-layered poem like you know तिम्रो अघि भनिरहेको थियो नि सबै पोएटहरू रेभोल्युसनरी हुन्छ भने जस्तो सो यु नो हाउ पोएट्री एन्ड रेभोल्युसन हाउ he could never decide which was his way भनेर क्या did you want to be a poet or did you want to be a revolutionary भने जस्तो so that kind of dilemma so I felt because we were talking about it so that's what the first impression I carried
so त्यही अगाडिकै कुरामा जाँदाखेरि त्यही लभकै कुरामा चाहिँ सो यो लभले जुन जसरी इन्फ्लुएन्स जसरी पप कल्चरले चाहिँ लभलाई इन्फ्लुएन्स गरेको छ नि अहिले सो यो गर्यो भने चाहिँ लभ देखाएको जस्तो हो नभए चाहिँ होइन सो एभ्री सेकेन्ड मुभी इज अबाउट लभ एभ्री सेकेन्ड बुक इज अबाउट लभ सो त्यसले चाहिँ नि हामीले माया देखाउने तरिका चेन्ज भएको छ नि होइन सो कतिको अथेन्टिक हो त्यो चाहिँ
अब कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि तिमीलाई माया लागे पछाडि मान्छेको होइन अब when you fall in love with someone you want to do something for them right because your hands become heavy with intention you want to do something that's why I think people kiss also because your mouth also want to do something your whole body wants to do something it wants to do something for the other person and त्यो चाहिँ that happens right when you are in love but then मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि I'm always very wary of I find it very lazy when somebody buys me flower or somebody buys me pretty cards. I thought like how unthoughtful just lacks in like this he could have done something with his hands but as so there was this guy I was in love with and so I gave him a box and I said open this when you go back home and he lived in a different part of the world so he went there and then I'd given him some seeds of flowers like some flower I didn't even know the फुल्छ भनेर मलाई थाहा थिएन हैन त्यो seed निकालेर दिएको थिएँ मैले in a small brass box and then so I just wanted to know what kind of person he is I was just attracted to this guy but I didn't know what kind of person he was so after that I never talked about it and I did not know if he would figure out these were the seeds this was mud this was soil was this some kharani so I didn't want to tell him also and we talked about other things throughout and after like I think 6 or 7 months he sent me a picture of this tiny plant and I'd forgotten the plant so I said what is it and he said like this is what you had given to me and I found it so beautiful that effort both of us took it was like nurturing from both the side it was a gift that needed to be taken care of that needed to be tended and I love that kind of gifts actually I personally don't like it when somebody is like, oh, just buys me a bag or like buys me perfumes. I feel like that's very lazy. I'm not impressed when I ask them.
So, त्यो पनि एउटा उ भन्छ नि जसरी बलिउडले जसरी लभलाई इन्फ्लुएन्स गरेको छ भनेर भन्छ नि जसरी लाइक शाहरुख खान जस्तो पाराले गर्यो भने चाहिँ रोमान्टिक हुने नभए चाहिँ नहुने जस्तो क्या अनि त्यसले कतिको इम्प्याक्ट पारेको छ द वे वी लभ चाहिँ कतिको लाइक हामी हामी छौँ कि छैनौँ त्यो माया गर्ने बेलामा भने जस्तो
अब सबै अब जस्तै मलाई चाहिँ अब आइएम भेरी अब मलाई चाहिँ गुरुदत्तको जस्तो होइन त्यो बेलाको वाइदा रहमान हो त्यो बेलाको जस्तो आइएम क्वाइट इन्फ्लुएन्स्ड हुन्छ नि अब जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल राइटिङ पोएम्स होइन प्यासा कागज की फुल सो राइटिङ पोएम्स एन्ड अप्रिसिएटिङ अदर पर्सन्स पोएम्स आई थिङ्क समवेयर even my idea of love is informed by the books that I read or the cinema that I watch. I think that's inevitable because we are impressionistic. अब शाहरुख खानको कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ शाहरुख खान or Salman Khan or whatever, they never appealed to me actually to emulate. मलाई के लाग्यो त्यो फिल्ममा मलाई खतरा लभको सिन के लाग्यो let me think about it मलाई खतरा के लाग्यो भन्दाखेरि oh there's this cinema called मलाई एकदम मन परेको सिनेमा भनेको रोमान्टिक कमेडी भनेको आई लाइक दिस सिनेमा कल नटिङ हिल by it's very awkward and just like very weird like, that's my I like having a lot of conversations and being funny and sarcastic yeah I think yeah my idea of loving is informed by that kind of movie but yes I'm also influenced not necessarily by Shah Rukh Khan but I think it's inevitable we do get influenced by something or the other and which book there are several books I'm influenced by actually there's this book called An Equal Music by Vikram Seth yeah
so now moving to the next poem I think Rumi poem
we're gonna read all these poems really
yep fuck your lava
okay
this is the last one
okay so but we are going to read Sayur Lodhiani
yeah
okay
the 4 lines
okay there is a field by Rumi out beyond ideas of wrongdoings and right doings there's a field I will meet you there when the soul lies down in that grass the world is too full to talk about ideas language even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense the breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you don't go back to sleep you must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill, where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep.
So Rumi was a spiritual Sufism wala guy, So what do you feel spiritualism or art ko link is?
I read this brilliant book by Alif Shafak called 40 Rules of Love. So it's about Shamsi Tabriz and who was Rumi's guru and Rumi, right? And then so Rumi and Shamsi Tabriz, the love affair between these two people. It is the kind of spirituality that I like, the Sufism and this Mastmala, like this drunkenness out of dancing and out of poetry. That is also my idea of spirituality. Relationship between art and spirituality is, I think, spirituality is also a quest for my individual being, and art is also a search for my individual voice. So I think they are both very similar. I find both directed to the same end, the quest for individuality. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I really? Beyond the cast of society.
So the first few lines, beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. So I can't help but draw parallels with your LGBT community or love. Get your first few lines, and so you're very vocal about this economic aspect, like why your love accepted by now, अनि लाइक एज अ त्यो लभको हिसाबले हेर्ने हो भने एज अ त्यो इमोसन फिलिङको हिसाबले हेर्ने हो भने वाइ डु थिङ्क द्याट स्टिल एकदम ट्याबु जस्तो अप्राकृतिक जस्तो भनेर भन्छ नि
Somebody asked me this question on my Tumblr. What is your opinion about LGBTQI community? LGBT मात्रै ल्याएको थियो, but QI is also there. So basically, म चाहिँ while I think human beings have many different kind of needs for love. man to man, woman to woman, old man, young woman, old man, children, brothers, sisters, uncles. These are all different needs for human love. We need to be loved in many different ways because of many different needs. But having said that, do I believe in categorization? Like, if I have to say, what am I? Am I bisexual? Am I cis? Am I lesbian? Am I heterosexual? I really think about it, and I'm like, I'm not just one. I could be anything. Just like for me, like it's the boundary is very liquid. Like the desire is very liquid. Just like someone. And having said that, I always quote this line by Jacques Lacan. I really like. He's talked a lot about desires. Okay, Lacan said once that desire is created by the lack. So whatever we don't have, desire moves into that direction. Tomorrow we might legitimize LGBTQI movement and we say, oh, this is accepted. It's not that त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ समाज यति open हुन्छ कि there will not be anything that is considered abnormal. Okay? Then people might fall in love with a goat. There's this play called Sylvia. Who is Sylvia? Edward Elbey's play, and where this guy falls in love with a goat. Like he has a wife. He's based in like Manhattan, and then and who are we to say that we who say that homosexual love is human right? Who are we to say that someone's right to fall in love is not human right enough? So मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि a society should not be too concerned. Society is not there to control people or regulate people's sexuality. Sexuality should be left to people. Of course, if somebody rapes somebody is doing against somebody's desire, then state could intervene, then the jurisprudence could intervene. But desire भन्ने कुरा, it cannot be regulated. It cannot be controlled by state or society. We evolve. Desires move left and right. We have desire for all kind of different things, and that's person's private affair.
So the next poem,
Okay.
Charles Bukowski.
Charles Bukowski. I really like Bukowski. I Met a Genius by Charles Bukowski. I met a genius on the train today, about 6 years old. He sat beside me, and as the train ran down along the coast, we came to the ocean, and then he looked at me and said, "It's not pretty." It was the first time I'd realized that.
Yeah, so this poem brings me the individualism wala question मा के. So यदि 5 जना मान्छेले चाहिँ सर्टेन कुरा ब्युटिफुल छ भनेर भन्यो भने the 6th person cannot say यो राम्रो छैन भनेर क्या. सो त्यो हिसाबले हेर्ने हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो आफ्नो थट चाहिँ कति छ, आफ्नो पर्सनल ओपिनियन जस्तो त्यो मासले मेनिपुलेट नगरेको थट्सहरू चाहिँ जसरी अब ओसन त यसै पनि सबैले ब्युटिफुल भनिरहेको छ, एउटा बच्चाले चाहिँ आएर नराम्रो भनेर भन्दियो. सो त्यो हिसाबको थट चाहिँ हाम्रो.
It's very interesting. Well, my first impression, not that you asked, but then I have to answer out of habit. But my first impression, like after reading this poem, was like I just remembered this story called "The Emperor's New Cloth." Everybody says, "Oh wow," and then like the kid is like, "Oh, the king is naked," and that's So this is very interesting. I have to be honest. I'm someone who is constantly trying to find my voice, my individual voice. And I get so swayed by public opinion. Like privately, I get so swayed by public opinion. For example, also in these recent days, I've been, especially when I was trying to separate from all relationship of all this many years, and then there are like people who are commenting on that and whatever. And मलाई चाहिँ कस्तो म amoral हुन खोज्दै पनि नैतिकता भन्दा माथि जान खोजेर सोच्दै पनि म चाहिँ कस्तो त्यो बाँधिन्छ कि सोसाइटीमा अरूको ओपिनियनले. आई गेट पुल डाउन के इट वेज अन मी के. सो आई थिङ्क इट्स very difficult to be original and authentic. It needs a lot of training, and I'm striving also. Okay? And it is indeed genius for somebody to have an opinion of his own, just to see things as they are without the past interpretation of things. I think this is so challenging. अनि मैले त्यो कोसिस गर्दा पनि it's something very difficult to acquire. It just lingers. मान्छेहरूको ओपिनियन.
सो मान्छे इन्डिभिजुअल हुन्छ नि लाइक मासले मेनिपुलेट हुँदैन इन्डिभिजुअलै भएर बस्छु भन्न चाहिँ फेरि त्यही उसकैवाला उसमा गयो त्यो के अरे फ्रिडमवाला उसमै गयो. सो इन्डिभिजुअल हुनु भनेको पनि एक हिसाबको फ्रिडमै त होइन.
I think individuality, I think freedom can only, man can only be free inside his or her mind. मेरो माइन्डमा म जति पनि फ्री हुन सक्छु. आई एम फ्री टु मेक माई ओपिनियन्स अर डिसाइड हाउ आई वान्ट टु थिङ्क अबाउट सर्टन थिङ्स. तर बाहिर बिहेभ गर्दाखेरि त मैले त आई निड टु टेक अदर पर्सन इन्टु कन्सिडरेसन नि त होइन. लाइक मैले हात त्यति मात्रै तन्काउन सक्छु जसले चाहिँ अर्को मान्छेको नाकमा नलागोस् भनेर भन्छ नि. आई क्यान ओन्ली एक्सटेन्ड माई आर्म टु एन एक्सटेन्ड द्याट इट डजन्ट हिट समवन एल्सेस नोज भन्छ नि डेफिनेसन अफ को एक्जिस्टिङ इन सोसाइटी. द्याट्स ट्रु इन एन एक्सटर्नल सेन्स. यु हेभ टु kind of maintain it, because otherwise if you don't do that, somebody might keep on punching back into your nose. If only for self-defense, you need to maintain that, right? But having said that, I think individuality and freedom, the sense of being an individual, untainted by public opinion, or untarnished, unsoiled by the experiences of life, that is an internal process. I think the virginity of mind is an internal thing. Okay? Because I can work on internally being untouched by everything that happens to my life. But even that is very difficult. But I think that is the only space of freedom internally. Last month.
So individualistic हुनु भनेको enlightened हुनु केही parallel हिसाबले
अब recently agnosticized person that I am, I find these words like enlightenment, guru, too heavy with connotations. Okay? I don't want to use them. Like, like these things have already like derailed people, and I do not want to use those words. I don't know what is enlightenment. I don't know what it is. To be honest, there was a time where I was concerned about enlightenment, absolute clarity of mind and heart and intention. Now I've accepted my position as a human being. I cannot completely know everything. Something will always be hidden. Something will always be in penumbra. Something will always be half lit and dark. It's okay. I don't need to be enlightened. Partially lit is enough.
So let's read Sahir Ludhiana.
That's my favorite Kavita, Hasa.
It's only 4 lines.
But I could have read the entire thing. This is from Pyasa.
Last one.
Yeah, the last one. ये महलों, ये तख्तों, ये ताजों की दुनिया. I'm already singing. Okay? ये महलों, ये तख्तों, ये ताजों की दुनिया, ये इंसान के दुश्मन समाजों की दुनिया, अनि ये दौलत के भूखे रिवाजों की दुनिया, ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है? Something like that. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so first impression, or like it's not really first.
This is how I was thinking about world for the longest time. But these days I realize that I'm not aloof from this world. I'm not an alien to this world. I'm also actively making this world all the time. If this is महलो तख्तो ताजो की दुनिया, I can do something little to change it. I feel like I feel empowered. Okay? म त्यस्तो परास्त हुनु पर्दैन. I don't need to be vanquished by the indifference or the sordidness of the world anymore. I have certain ability to at least make a garden outside my house. So this is how I thought for my entire 20s. I just turned 30. And the moment I step into 30, I feel that, you know what? The world might be a terrible place to live in, but I have a little space which I can make very beautiful. And I'm going to do that because I'm going to be creative and I'm going to create and I'm going to beautify. So this is how I feel about life right now.
So existentialism, so existentialism ko ke cha life ma purpose. So
existentialism, I really like Albert Camus, you know? I really like I don't like Sartre so much as I like Albert Camus actually. So but having said that, we talked about existentialism. Yes, there is an existential angst. If you think about it, we are so tiny, we are so minuscule, you know, we are so small, and this world is so big, and the world is indifferent. Like, a random asteroid comes and ends the entire life in certain planet, and nobody cares because there's no God, there's no Almighty Father or a benign figure who is concerned about our welfare, thinking about that way. Of course, the world is a desolate place to live in. There's existentialism. But there's also adventure. There's nobody who's going to take care of us. Then this world is constantly on flux, and an asteroid can come and hit us. But then this night there are stars in the sky, like there are moon, and I could just go about carousing with my friends. I could have good pasta in a restaurant, or I could buy good clothes, or I could light a candle and read a good book by Pankaj Mishra by my bedside. Life is exciting. Life is filled with small moments of joy, okay? Like little windows, okay? And it's about interpretation. I was very influenced by existentialism. I told you my entire 20s. And now these days, because I had such a massive psychological meltdown, I came to a point of like being very suicidal. And that's why I had to get out of the commune and that entire bullshit of spirituality. Because I had a meltdown, okay? I'd become so disoriented. And if only to sustain my own self, I needed to change paradigm. Okay? I needed to change my gestalt of looking at life. And now I see that, oh, it is like that. That's not wrong way of looking into it. But it's just about like half glass or glass half full or glass half or half empty or half full, right? So it's like, yeah, these days I feel like life is difficult. It's very challenging. But it's also such a joy because, like I could express my love and I could give my love to the other person, or I could just dance, or like things that give me joy. Like there is this avocado tree outside my bedroom. Like I just look at this one avocado. The entire season to look my avocado falls on, and it's like slowly ripening. It's fattening once. I mean, like week after week, I see how that fruit is becoming riper, right? And then one day it will fall. Like त्यो सेतो फुल हुँदाखेरिदेखि लिएर avocado भएदेखि लिएर it will fall and somebody will eat and it will become a part of soil again, होइन? So I take such a great pleasure in participating in the mysteries of nature, okay? Like it's like a merry-go-round in nature. Like, oh, there are flowers, there are fruits, there it falls, and
तर त्यो bigger purpose of life भन्छ नि, like higher purpose of life. So त्यो बारे चाहिँ like higher purpose छ हाम्रो कि like we just have to exist कि हाम्रो higher purpose खोज्नु नै.
I think like this, as Kavi talked about higher purpose, he gave this example of, I think, a cow, right? So a cow kind of like, it's a calf, and then the higher purpose is to grow, so it eats like a lot of grasses and stuff like that, and blah, blah. It becomes big and blah, blah. But what happens? It becomes fatty and somebody cuts it and eats it as a beef, right? So the higher purpose is like there's nothing, there is death. We think like, oh, so what's like a higher purpose? College pass garnu, we pass college, and the higher purpose is to get married. We get married, there are children, and the higher purpose is to get them married, and then we die. Oh, what? There's nothing. So I think the concept of higher purpose, मलाई पनि एकदम हल्लाको when I first read about it. तर अहिले चाहिँ मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि Buddha also talked about this. He said that हिँड्दाखेरि 5 feet मात्र अगाडि हेरेर हिँड्नु भनेर भन्थ्यो बुद्धले. So I think that when you look too far away, this universe is infinite and our eyes have limitations. We can only see as much. So after a while, तिमीले केही कुरालाई त्यो रोपलाई रोप हो भनेर देखेन भने तिमीलाई सर्प जस्तो लाग्छ नि. That's why when you gaze into infinity, because you can only see as much. The darkness frightens you, so you think that death is the horrible thing that could happen, and then you will just perish and you'll become nobody. Well, we don't know. Maybe it's an adventure, right? So we are limited. Okay, so I think my way of looking into life right now is that, yeah, maybe there's a higher purpose, but there is one step at a time. Taking this one step. Am I happy? Like this one step that I'm making, am I happy doing this? Sakyana.
Okay. So Sakya पनि.
Sakya. Okay.
So thank you so much for doing this.
Not at all. It's such a pleasure. I enjoyed it.
खुसी लाग्यो मलाई चाहिँ personally सुन्दाखेरि. So thank you so much.
Can I keep this?
Yep.
Okay.